Good afternoon, all. Usually I wouldn't do things like this, but I think it needs to be said, and it needs to be said in such a way that PD and Sony can hear this. And look, and I know we're only a small, a small community on YouTube. There's only 300 of us, but I think there's enough people out there in the GT world that should stand up and say what needs to be said to the people that make this game. I want to be clear from the outset is that when GT7 came out last year, it was a game changer. I mean, the graphics are awesome, the sound awesome, but it's almost like they don't give a shit about the people that made the game what it is. You know, when GT Sport came out, it was a big change in the kind of Gran Turismo setup, whereas all the other Gran Turismos before that were about tuning up little sports cars and that kind of thing and playing by yourself. And then GT Sport kind of opened up a whole new world to everybody. And it was all about lots of online racing and leagues springing up all over the place. I mean, now you look, there are leagues all over the place that play this game. And a lot of those leagues, like us, broadcast what they do. But it just seems with every update that PD have brought out to this game, it's making the experience of broadcasting these races more and more difficult and taking away from the enjoyment of the actual races. This latest update for VR, and don't get me wrong, the whole idea of VR is brilliant, but it seems to me that the only aim for this update was to push people to buying a piece of equipment, and we're talking about a piece of equipment that is more expensive than the PlayStation 5 this game was designed for. Let's be clear about that. We're not talking about a piece of kit that costs you a couple of £100. You can buy a steering wheel and pedals and a rig for less than it costs you to buy a virtual reality headset for the PlayStation. So what they've done is they've brought out this update so you can use this brilliant new piece of equipment with Gran Turismo, which is awesome. But what they've done is absolutely screwed up any opportunity for people to, in any meaningful way, broadcast their league races. And I don't know if any of you have seen it, but this is the kind of shit that happens. You go into a lobby now and you get this. You can't switch between cars. And it doesn't matter what you do. Now, there's so many people are going to comment on this and say, oh yeah, there are workarounds. We shouldn't have to have fucking workarounds. When they had GT Sport had the lobby system down to a T. It worked, absolutely worked. And then they bring out GT7, and instead of using the same model, they've done something completely different. And from day one, there has been problems with the lobbies, and yet over time they've added things, and they've brought in qualifying, which is great. And in this update they even gave us the lobby results screen. But it's all for shit if you can't broadcast the races, because it's great for the 15-year-old with daddy's credit card who can go out and buy a virtual reality headset and sit there racing virtual reality with his friends. But groups like ours, like Black Flag, groups like GT Champions, like Fusion, like ICE, like all these racing groups, ART, all of these racing groups, they on a regular basis they broadcast the races, and it's a whole part of the appeal of what we do. And it's almost like PD don't give a shit about us people, and I don't think they realise that it's people like us that do this, that spend the money on the equipment, that pay for the PlayStation Network fees and are online all the time and promoting them through YouTube. They forget as well that it promotes their brand through YouTube. And it's like they treat us like a piece of shit. This update has done nothing but serve to fill their own pockets. And they've got it in the known issues already, so they know it's a problem. This is the thing. So they bring out the update. They haven't tested it, because if they tested it, they wouldn't have released it like this. Right? They know it's an issue. It's actually written in the known issue. And rather than say, look, this is a big problem, let's fix this now. I know, we'll sort it out in the next updates. They actually don't give a shit about us. And do you know, it might sound like I'm ranting unnecessarily, and maybe I am. But we pay a lot of money for this game. We pay monthly fees for the PlayStation Network. We pay all these other fees, and we give up our time to do this. And let's get it straight. We enjoy doing it. That's why we do it. But we shouldn't be treated like a piece of shit by the people that we're essentially promoting, which is what we're doing. We're putting money in their pockets, and they treat us like garbage. And I personally feel as though we're banging our head against a wall here, and that no one cares. No one at PD actually cares what we think. And I genuinely, right, if there's someone at PD that sees this, and they probably won't, if someone at PD sees this, I don't give a shit about your fucking pockets. We put money in your pocket when we paid 70, 80, 90 quid for this fucking game. It's ridiculous. You need to respect the people that buy the game, because eventually you're just going to piss people off so much they're going to go elsewhere. You've already lost the FIA rights to Assetto Corsa, and Assetto Corsa do lobby racing better than you do. The only problem is, of course, is that you have to pay for the lobbies and all that kind of thing, but they've already got that right. How much more do you guys want to lose to your competitors? That's the big question you need to ask. So think about people like us, people that run these leagues day in, day out, people that are filling up your lobbies day in, day out, and think about what it is that makes the game for them, and how you can make it better for them, or at least not break what you've already done. Because that's what you've done, is essentially taken something that kind of worked and broke it. And that's basically me at about 1.29. It's an update you never should have released because it wasn't ready to release. Never should have released it because it wasn't fit for purpose. Unless, of course, your only purpose you cared about was how many VR headsets you could sell. And if that's what it was all about, then fuck you, Sony, and fuck you, PD.